So one thing we haven't talked about that's really easy to do in Greenfoot is to add sound effects. So before we can do that, we actually need to go and get some sound effects. So a few places that I know of that have generic sound effects that you can download for free and you don't need a login account are these sites I'm going to show you. So the first one is soundbible.com. The text here I think is pretty big. Hopefully you can read that so that you can track it down. The next one is FlashKit. And FlashKit's a Flash developer resource site. They also have sound effects, so there's all kinds of little goodies in there that you can add in for what you might want. PacDV is in Pacific Digital Video. They have a free sound effects section on their website. The URL is pacdv.com/sounds. And then finally, there's this website, which I'm not entirely sure what its name is, but grsites.com/archive/sounds. And that's actually how I was able to go into Google and track down the URL comes up first here in the results. So that way you'll be able to track down that URL even if you didn't quite catch it from the screen. Of course, the other thing you can always do is a Google search. Like I had to specifically look for Mario Brothers theme song. So I did something like this, and then I went and downloaded an MP3 of the theme song so that way I could incorporate that in Greenfoot. But of course, it's not going to show up on a generic site, so you have to do a bit more hunting for that kind of thing. Now, you know how the Greenfoot project structure looks, and that's that when you're in your new project, you have these additional folders here for sounds and images, and that's where you need to store all those resources there for sound effects. That way Greenfoot knows how to track them down without having to use the full qualified path name. You can just use the file name. So I have the things I'm going to show you how to hook in. I'm going to hook in the theme song. I'm going to hook in a sound effect for when he kicks, and also one for the explosion. It's important that you be able to see the file extensions too so that you can pull them up. So I've got an MP3 and a couple of waves to show you about. This adds, you can see, a little bit more size to my project. So ideally you can stick with small files like MP3s and over waves. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to make the theme song happen. And in this case, I'm going to make a static variable here, which is just going to represent its theme song. And I'm connecting it to that resource that I just showed you, themesong.mp3. And the class I'm using is the Greenfoot Sound class. Now, this is enough so that Greenfoot knows what the theme is. But of course, it's not going to start playing at that instant. It's basically a little mini music player that's ready to go. I just have to give it the commands I need. So in order now to figure out how to get the theme song going in the game, I'm going to bring you to the documentation so you can see the methods I'm going to use. In the world for Greenfoot, there's a couple handy methods to notice here. One is started and the other is stopped. So if I go there, started is what happens the minute we execute. So basically when I hit this play button here, it's going to call that method started. So in case there was anything you needed to do when someone hits the play button. The other side of that is when you hit the pause button that's there on the other times, that's this method here called stopped. So this is when execution has stopped. So I'm going to retype that method and tell it how it should behave in my game. So the first one, and I'll put it up here pretty quick, is again to override that method for started. This is now going to say that, hey Greenfoot, when my game starts, this is what I expect you to do for me. This is saying any other things that normally happen when it started, you should still do those. Super is the super class, and we haven't gotten very far into object-oriented programming here, but I'll just show you where the super class is. That's it right there. So the level is the one I'm writing and telling Java about. The world is where it came from. That's the parent class, and the way you get its code is you refer to it as super. That's a keyword in Java. So again, all I'm trying to say to Java is don't change what you did before. That's fine by me. Keep doing what you used to do. So I go and say, hey parent of mine, the world class, go and do your normal started business. But when you're done, what I'd like you to do is start the play loop method, where it's just going to keep looping the theme song in the background. And really similarly, to show you the stopped, oops, what do we got here? Let's keep that scheme, thanks. When I've got the stopped method going, this time I'm going to use the pause command so that way I can play and pause the game. So I'll do some compiling here, and I won't make you wait around for that, but I'll show you the effect of this code. Alright, so it looks like we're ready to go. The first thing I'll tell you is that theme song I downloaded has about 3 seconds of lag in the beginning of it. So even though I hit play, it doesn't instantly start the theme song. So, you know, if I was making a production level game, of course I'd change that. But you'll get the point here, just wait for the lag. And now when I hit pause, it literally does the pause command that I put in my code and continues when I start it again. So that's how those 2 buttons can be accessed in your game as well. Okay, so now we're going to go and take a look over at Mario, and I'm going to add a sound effect for him for when he does his kick. And this time, the code is actually pretty simple again. I just have to track down where I want that animation to happen. And this is the only place that triggers the kick. This is when the kick starts. So if I want the sound effect played at the beginning of a kick, this is where I need to do it. So I'm going to go into this code here and create my own green foot sound. And remember, it's this one in the folder, that's kick.wave. So I'm going to go kick, I can't remember, capital, yes. And remember, all that does is creates a little music player, but it's not ready until I go kick.play. Now I don't want to play a loop on this, I just want it to play the one sound effect the first time. Okay, so again, I'll show you the result of this. Alright, so it's ready to go. Remember, there is that little lag, so I'll try and make the kick happen as quickly as I can, because then in that lag it'll be easier to hear. So let's see what we can do. So anyway, again, not the most thrilling effect, but you can see that at least Mario has connected his kick now to a little, which I believe that's the official kick for Mario, or at least the sound effect I believe was from the official game. Alright, the last effect I put in was an explosion, so I'm going to go and connect that up to the fireball. So now when that fireball explodes, I'll go in and add that sound to it as well. So down here, again, if I think about when the explode is doing its work, it's in here, and this explosion has only one specific time when I want it to play, and that's on the first frame. So this is the explosion happening, and if it's just begun, that's when I'm going to play it. If I didn't have the statement in here, it would play it over and over and over every time I called that method to explode. So what I had to do to make sure it only plays the one time the explosion starts is to add this little if statement to it, so it only does it the one time. So you know, again, that's basically the extent of what I'm going to show you, but if you want to watch here, I'll show you the result of that last sound effect. Okay, so here he is. I'll fire a fireball. And there's the explosion. Now I promise if there was any kind of like discrepancy in the sound there, it's either a lag in the file, like when the file actually begins to play the sound effect, or it's a lag just because I have a really slow laptop here that I'm using. But it does happen at the very beginning, that instant where the explosion starts. So alright, you've got another tool then. You can add this to your own games and put sound effects in using the Greenfoot sound class.